Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second part of the session on science communication. This morning, the session focused more on the institutional side. We had a presentation from the Research Executive Agency, one from the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions program, the unit, and one by Anna Maria Fleetwood, representing the Swedish Research Council, who presented the white paper released by Science Europe on science communication. And then we had a comment on those presentations by Rosa Arias, representing the organizations working on the topic. Now, today, this afternoon, the session is the other way around. We'll start with something that I will mention it a bit, with citizens involved in science. I think that's one of the best moments for me of this conference. It's when we see something really in action. And then we will move of another great moment, the presentation, in this case, by Rosa. And we'll introduce you in due time. And followed by a presentation by Nadine, a science communicator. She's online. And finally, Anna Maria Fleetwood will comment on, will provide her point of view, a few words on what has been said in the previous part of this presentation. So let me start by introducing, first of all, Alexandra Dubini, who is the vice chair of the Marie Curie Alumni Association. And she will introduce us the speakers of the first part. And with this, I thank her very much for this. I'm going to sit in the audience because I want really to enjoy this.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much to everyone for being here, and thank you to Gian Maria, who is giving us this opportunity to present this project that we started last year in 2021, in fact, thanks to two professors that are located, they are mathematics professors, and they are located in Tenerife. And so here we have representing the high school of San Benito in the town called Laguna in Tenerife, with Juan Francisco, who is the first teacher, and along with him came Laura Paz y Paola Hernández. Both they are 13 years old, okay? And then the second high school from Salesiano, also from Laguna, with Professor Merari Afonso, and she came along with two students, Valeria Hernández y Loara Dailla. Both of them are 16 years old, and they are going to present this project that started really organically. I would say they contacted me. They wanted to use mathematics to actually solve a question and then have challenges based on climate change. And so it's the whole story. They're going to give you the whole story about the project and how everything started and what they have been doing for the last year. And they are still carrying on doing it this year. Thank you. Yes, please. And also it's the first time they are actually speaking in English in front of, in a conference, big conference with the public, so a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are Valeria and Loara from the high school Salesiano San Juan Bosco, and Lara and Paula from IES San Benito, both located in the municipality of La Laguna in Tenerife, Spain. We are a group of students between 13 and 16 years old that, together with our teachers, Juan Francisco Falcón and Merari Afonso, have come here to present you our educational initiative service learning called the Dubini Project. Hope you like it. Our project came to life because we have a serious problem that affects us all, climate change. We are fully aware that global climate change impacts our lives in many ways. Our future is compromised and depends on the decisions our politicians make today. on immediate social changes and sustainable habits that will allow us to dream of a future. We want to solve this problem, but we can't do it alone. It's not about recycling more or individually changing our habits. It is necessary, but it is definitely not enough. It's about working all together. The basis of the project is to join forces to create collaborative networks to achieve this. A thin rope is easy to break, but if you weave them together, it becomes invisible. As an Ethiopian proverb says, when spiders weave together, they can catch a lion.
Our teachers explained the problem to us and the need to act in order to solve it. And they did it by creating a story that runs through the whole school year, with different activities. This is the trailer that was created for this project. The project was created as a climate escape room using mathematics to access it. Basically, the project was linked to a mathematics curriculum, and more specifically, with problem solving. Through 14 episodes, video problems were worked on as if they were part of a Netflix series, set in different periods of history of mathematics. From Hypatia to Katherine Johnson, passing through Theano, Gauss, or Heidi Lamar. Each student had to solve mathematics problem watching each video, and when successful, they would travel back in time and get access to a video made by Dr. Dubini, explaining what kind of climate-related challenges needed to be executed in order to avoid the disaster.
Desde la biblioteca de Alejandría, la gran filósofa y matemática Hypatia observa minuciosamente la isla de Faros, en la que siglos atrás se había levantado con esplendor una de las 7 maravillas del mundo antiguo, el majestuoso Faro de Alejandría, sin duda para los navegantes del Mediterráneo, una de las grandes referencias y guías. Por todos ellos es popularmente conocido que el Faro de Alejandría tiene una altura de 160 metros. Hypatia, con sus cálculos minuciosos, acaba de descubrir que la distancia a ras de suelo entre la biblioteca y la parte más alta del faro era de 340 metros. De esta manera, fácilmente halló la distancia entre el faro de Alejandría y la biblioteca, dejándolo anotado en su cuaderno, para lo que usó la numeración egipcia. Esos símbolos son los últimos códigos que realmente también ahora tú necesitas para desvelar el nuevo reto de la doctora Dubini y con ello salvar nuestro planeta.
They have a YouTube channel and they have a blog and they blog everything they do, and in the YouTube channel they have all the episodes and everything is available.
Our teachers want to teach us math, but we also learn other important aspects. For example, the importance of working together for the equality between women and men, to create a greater environmental awareness with a sense of networking or teamworking, working to achieve the SDGs, learning how to use different technological tools, or learning about aspects we didn't know about the history of mathematics.
By solving math problems, we were directly involved in performing climate challenges. Here is an example of challenges we accomplished last year. They were 5 in total over the course of the year. The first one was to create a climate anthem. We developed verses collaboratively among 60 students from 3 different schools. With the help of a local composer from Tenerife, we created the melody of a song and then recorded the video clip, which was a great success. Let's watch a little bit to give you an idea.
Acompáñame a salvar el planeta, yo no quiero vivir más en esta tormenta. El paso al frente lo decides tú. Ven, acompáñame a salvar el planeta, ya no quiero vivir más en esta tormenta. El paso al frente lo decides tú. Ven, acompáñame a luchar por la vida. Mañana ya es tarde y el pasado no olvida. Solo piensa y busca un cambio de actitud. Creía que no pasaría, mejor esperar otro día. No pusimos atención, lo digo de corazón, para mejorar la situación. Miré hacia la lejanía, aún sin tener garantía. Día a día hasta acabar, juntos vamos a cambiar. Solo dame la mano y confía. El proyecto comenzó con idea, con misión. Ayudando cada día, empiezo con esta canción. No paraba de gritar, mis problemas van a hablar. Un presente encadenado, pero ya estoy preparado. El proyecto comenzó con idea, con misión. Ayudando cada día, empiezo con esta canción. No paraba de gritar, mis palabras.
For example, we held a virtual meeting with a politician from City Council, responsible for the department for the fight against climate change. Then we followed up of the Glasgow Summit. And finally, we recorded and spread a series of videos. This year, we have also produced a new video on the occasion of the Egypt Summit, with the hashtag Ni un paso atrás, with the participation of schools from Spain, Italy, India, and Tunisia. Other challenges including the planting of trees to reforest surrounding areas and reduce our carbon footprint, as well as the collection and recycling of waste on one of our beaches. In these challenges, we sought the collaboration of different local groups and associations who helped us to achieve them. Last year's final challenge was the creation of an intercontinental student manifesto, which was produced via video call by students from 4 continents: Spain, Europe, India, Asia, Chile, America, and Senegal, Africa. Dr. Dubini helped us write it, and the manifesto was translated from Spanish into English and French, and we tried to send it to UNESCO to get a live presentation, but we were unsuccessful. If any of you would like to help us reaching the UNESCO and make our manifesto international, you are more than welcome to join our initiative. The course concluded with a meeting with all students from Tenerife who participated in the Dubini's project, in which we had the presence of Alexandra Dubini, the mayor of La Laguna, all the groups that collaborated with the initiative, as well as the local television and radio stations. At the meeting, among other activities, the hashtag Cambio anthem was officially launched, which was shown on television, as well as the climate manifesto.
As my classmate mentioned, the initiative we carried out had a great impact on social networks, even reaching India and Australia, as well as in the standard media. And it was broadcast on several occasions on Canadian television and radio. It's worth mentioning the various recognitions we achieved this year. Golden Spinning took an International Spirit Award 2022, second prize in the national competition and Art Eco. Short films to head in Bollet. Election for CIMO 2022 in Madrid has the best innovative educational experience, and the finalist in the National Award for Service Learning in Seville. However, perhaps what we are most proof of is the great collaborative network we have been able to create. In the presentation, you can see the school that at some point have participated in one of the climate change proposed by Alexandra Dubini. As you can see, of 13 schools from 4 continents, Spain, Italy, India, Senegal, Chile, and Tunisia, have already been involved. In total, we are talking about around 700 students for all over the world united for a cause, saving the planet. Definitely, this makes us happy. We have fulfilled our objective, not feeling alone in the fight against climate change. And the project doesn't stop here. This year we have 2 more new challenges in practice. For example, this month we are working to light pollution. We had an invited scientist, Dr. Ana Mateo, from Canary Astrophysics Research Institute. Students, schools, and associations continue to join this great collaborative network. We can say that it is no longer just a school activity, but it is beginning to take on the appearance of a large movement. Would you like to join us in the fight? This is the link to our blog and our Twitter account. Thank you very much for your attention, and a special thanks to Alexandra for the invitation. Again, thank you.
Thank you to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There's plenty of comments and things to say, but we'll please keep it for the Q&A part. While I'll invite Rosa to join us here. Let me say something I know it's cheesy, probably a stereotype, but I think it's really true. It shows that there's hope, that there is a really hope. It was so beautiful. So thank you so much for this, to the teachers, to you, and to Alexandra, of course. So let's move on to our second speaker from the citizens to a citizen, but as well as an organization that works with citizens and to promote science and practices of citizen sciences. Your presentation should be here. No.
Can forward the email with the si quieres. O lo paso por mail. Sí. Sí, porque la tengo aquí. Mira, si te lo reenvío a algún sitio. Claro. Incluir archivos adjuntos. ¿Alguna dirección de mail? Claro, es que me conectan. Ah, me conecto yo. Claro. Vale. Ok.
I thought it was a cable. I thought I broke it.
Ok, sí, soy yo. Este one. Perfecto. Ok.
You sent it to me. I sent it to them. I uploaded it now. So you reach my email.
Sí, sí. O la puedo, o sea, la tengo en PowerPoint o la puedo... Si puedes cargarla en PowerPoint, mejor. O la puedo proyectar directamente desde así.
Inténtelo, a ver. Más que nada, porque como eso no tenemos...
Download it with the probably some.
¿No?
No, download it. Yes. Okay.
Ok, gracias.
We're ready.
Yes.
So let me formally introduce Rosa.
Thank
I've been saying her name since this morning, more than once, but now let me introduce her formally. So Rosa Arias is the CEO and founder of Science for Change, an organization that is based in Spain, I think. Barcelona. And whose mission is to bridge science and bring science closer to society. She has been involved and leading several European research projects on science communication and citizen science, and she sits on the board of the European Citizen Science Association. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. I will go over there.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gian Maria. Hope you can hear me well. Well, I have to start by saying that I'm super excited to see 4 female future scientists just talking before me. This is exceptional, and I would like to thank you very much, because this is exactly what we aim at Science for Change, just to bring people closer to science, foster vocations for the future. We need you, so thank you so much for this wonderful project you presented. And let me introduce very briefly what we do. We are a knowledge-based social enterprise based in Barcelona. We do a lot of collaborative research, as you did, exactly, just bringing people together and trying to produce evidence and inform policies with it, and also produce excellent science communication to reach the quadruple helix. This is our history. I will not go into the details, but just for you to know that we were born to exploit the results of a project that was on citizen science and odor pollution, which is a bit strange, but we all have noses, so we all can be scientists and measure odors very easily, and this is how everything started, and we are replicating now the methodology in many of the projects, just trying to promote this collaborative and inclusive research to boost positive societal change with citizens. This is how we work. We use citizen science, community engagement, co-creation, and a user-centered bottom-up approach approach to produce new data sets and tackle societal challenges through social innovations, and working with everybody together, basically. This is our team. We work very interdisciplinary. A lot of women you see there. We like to try to contribute to the gap, the gender gap also. And we are let's say, hard scientists, but also social scientists, a mixture of everything, to be able to talk with citizens and communicate well in science. We are involved in all these projects. Basically, I will focus in one, which is the mixture of citizen science and science communication, but we are involved in all these type of initiatives. But why? Why are we doing all this? First, because as you know, it's a European priority. We at Horizon Europe are supposed, all researchers, to introduce public engagement in science and co-creation in a cross-cutting way in all scientific topics. So we need to learn how to do this properly, and also because it has a lot of benefits for when you engage society in science, as we just saw, a wonderful example. When we do this, and we cannot forget that doing citizen science is doing science, but aligned with society, and we produce this data, this new evidence, we have the potential to inform public policies. We can mobilize behavioral changes also, which are really important when talking about climate change, for example, and we also encourage transparency and confidence, and we can apply all these methodologies to any scientific field, so the possibilities are huge. And we also have a need, which is quite clear. We need to communicate well, and that's why we are here. When we are doing citizen science and we want to engage so many stakeholders in the process, we need to know which channels, strategies, also the messages, the language that we use to really engage all these people. It's not the same to engage students in science that normal citizens, communities, or policymakers, or the private sector, or other scientists that maybe are working in a similar field and we can collaborate. So we need to use different means to reach them all. Also, this active participation of citizens in science has the potential to increase, as we have seen, critical thinking, and citizens become science communicators themselves. What a clear example we saw. And this is really important in these times where we are exposed to this infodemia, and we need to fight against also fake news and so on. So this also contributes to increase the trust in science. So we need to move to these one-directional communication models to this new way of changing the conversation about science, and use citizens also, or help citizens to become science communicators. And this is how New Zeta was born. New Zeta is a European project which is just ending, and we are testing citizen science communication. Why? Because we were involved in citizen science project and we detected this need of communicating well with all these stakeholders. So we decided to create this project, and we are working with 38 pilots for more than 3 years now in Italy, Portugal, and Spain, all of them doing citizen science in totally different fields, like biodiversity, climate change, rivers, I mean, anything that you can imagine, mosquitoes, I don't know, anything. And they have a common need, which is this improved communication strategies to increase the engagement with citizens, but also to have policy impact, or to work collaboratively with other scientists, or to involve the private sector. We also focus not only in this quadruple helix, like these stakeholders, but also on the media, because it's also, we need to transfer this knowledge to society. Media is really powerful, and we need also to learn how to talk with the media and understand their timings and their ways of working, and start collaborating together. So we have been working a lot, as you see here, with them, and at the end we become a kind of mentors, because we discovered that all these projects have a common lack of knowledge or resources or time or recognition. And the projects were very happy to not feel alone anymore, just trying to do science communication or citizen engagement as they can or with their own resources, but feeling that it's a common need that we all have. So we organize the work in what we call citizen science communication labs with all these projects, and we did like 3 rounds of sessions with them during these last 3 years. The first one was to co-create innovative communication strategies that it includes things like what we have seen now, games or podcasts, many different types of strategies depending on the objective, and for each one of the projects. Then we implement them. We measure the impact. In the middle, we train the project. We produce a lot of training materials for engaging citizens, for connecting with policies, for all the objectives, also to work with the media. And at the end, we evaluated the impact. And now we are in the last month of the project, and we are producing the final results, which would be the blueprints for excellent science communication. This is just an example of things that we did during the first round to co-create these innovative communication strategies. We analyzed the opportunities the projects had, and at the end, we come up with a plan for the communication for the target stakeholders that they were looking for. And we created this strategy that we test, that you can see here, for example, for this project, Urbamar, which is just taking photos of the biodiversity of the beaches in Barcelona, which may seem not a lot, but it turns out that citizens discover even 2 different species of seahorses, which we didn't know that they were there. So. And then we were identifying with them all the barriers that they have to reach all the stakeholders. How can they use science communication and these new channels, tools, strategies, etc., to reach them? We produce policy briefs. I will not go into the details, but just giving recommendations for each one of the stakeholders. You can find all this information online in the webpage of the project and also in Zenodo. So for the citizens, for the scientists, for the policymakers, and also for the private sector. And also we created this impact evaluation framework. As you know, it's not simple to evaluate impact, and usually indicators are thought at different levels that are not useful when you are implemented in practice to measure the impact of your actions. So we created all these. You can also, these indicators will be available in Zenodo soon, in a month, more or less, to be replicable and used by anyone. And also, we had this other lab to work together with journalists. This morning and this afternoon, here we saw a lot of sessions on science diplomacy, and we experienced the difficulties that scientists and researchers have when we talk with policymakers. But it's exactly the same situation when we try to talk with the media. We don't know the channels, we don't know how to reach them, we don't know their timings, how they work, their priorities. We don't understand that they are totally different. They need to publish news, and news are today, not tomorrow or not this afternoon, but now. And this different timing is really challenging. And also what they consider a story is maybe not what we consider a story, which our research. And also we discovered that the journalists sometimes don't trust the citizens, the scientists, sorry, or there is like a huge barrier that we need to overcome when we want to work together with the media to produce joint results. And in a common way, as with policymakers, we need to establish these trust relationships with the journalists so that we can be in the media and increase the impact of our projects. So we have been working with this, with all the projects. We try to pitch stories that are newsable for the journalists, not for the researchers. Also, we discuss about data bias, because journalists also have to check the sources, as we do when we do the peer reviews in the papers, they also do. And also, we wanted to explore the potential of citizen science, which is producing data that is relevant to the citizens, so it's supposed to be of relevance to society in general, to produce these data stories with the citizen-generated data. We also produced an exhibition with all this information that we presented in Barcelona last December, and we will present next month in Brussels on this data for seed size news that we call. And these are some of the results and the data stories that we created with the citizen science projects involved. The articles are super nice. They were a collaboration of one citizen science project with one data journalist in Italy, in Portugal, and in Spain. And we can share the links with you if you want. All the graphics are interactive, super nice. I mean, the stories they created with the data generated by the citizens are wonderful, so I encourage you to take a look. And as I was mentioning, we will be presenting all this and the exhibition in Brussels next 29th of March. So if you happen to be there, just come by and see. And we will have also a hybrid event, so you will be able to connect online if you're interested. And this is the example that I wanted to show on how to connect citizen science and science communication. And I would, to finish my intervention, just highlight 3 more projects that we have that you can collaborate with. Just for you to know, from April, we will be starting a project which is called Coalesce, which has the main goal to create the Science Communication European Competence Center. So it's a big project. It will last for 4 years, and it will gather all the information produced by the European projects on science communication during the last years, but also at the national level by different stakeholders. And we will just create a platform, put all there, the information. We will be co-creating new materials, trainings, etc., and also testing things outside to bring science to the streets, basically, as we mentioned this morning, and also to fight misinformation. So we will do a lot of collaborative actions, so if you are interested, just please follow. The kickoff will happen in Rotterdam in April, in parallel to the PCST conference. Also, another project you can join is Impetus, if you are interested in citizen science or you want to just go there and see what you can do with your research to involve citizens. You can present projects here. We have an open call right now that will distribute quite a lot of money, because we will be funding in the next 3 years 100 new citizen science projects and 25 new ongoing citizen science projects. So if you have an idea, just please apply, and let's see if we can work together. And finally, if you are also interested in citizen science, you know that this is the European platform that centralizes all the projects, so you can go there, use citizen science, and take a look. There are also a lot of training materials, workshops, collaborative things that we will be doing and organizing during the next 3-4 years. So please join the community if you want to participate. And finally, if you want to publish a paper also on these topics, we have this open topic, Bridging Citizen Science and Science Communication. So we are waiting for papers, and we encourage all of you to participate until April this year. And that's it from my side. Thank you so much.
We agreed on 15 minutes, and she made 14 minutes, 30 seconds. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Again, lots of questions here, but let's move to our final speaker before hearing from Anna Maria. Nadine, are you online? Yeah, I can see Nadine. Hello, Nadine.
Hello.
Good evening. So, Nadine Bongaerts, I apologize, I'm not so sure how I'm going to pronounce
That's perfect,
your,
thank you.
your surname. Well, Nadine is a familiar face for the MCAA because she's the founder of a communication science agency called Science Matters, and and Science Matters and Nadine have done collaborated with the MCA through a series they've done for us, a series of webinars on science communications, and especially let me mention what we did together yesterday. Nadine, this training workshop actually were two, parallel, one on site and the other entirely online. Same topic but different trainers, so the two groups were able to focus and have an intensive and hands-on training. Nadine, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much for welcoming me here, and it's great to see also the speakers, especially very young people enthusiastic about science and how to create even more impact in society, and communicating very well about that. And I can also very much relate to you, Rosa, and your mission. So I hope I can still add something to this topic. Maybe I can start with a very small introduction about myself. I'm a scientist by training. I come from the Netherlands, where I got very curious and enthusiastic about studying the molecular biology of life. And later on in my studies, I took a break. I became an entrepreneur, started my own science communication agency after participating in a science competition organized by the MIT. I will discuss a little bit later about that. And got very interested in the startup world and how our inventions from the lab can eventually impact the lives of people. And I started to develop a very holistic view on that topic, and I really truly believe that this combination of, to make it really work, you need kind of a combination between science, business, and society. And I try to kind of embody different elements of that to create the different links that one may need to bring an invention to the public and to make it useful in the end. So I've been involved in science communication for more than a decade now, but I also have a full-time job as a Chief Innovation Officer at a cell-based meat company in Paris called Gourmet, and I'm a mom, so that gives also another very interesting dimension to everything. I've done a lot of public speaking, and I'm a board member of a deep tech startup network called Hello Tomorrow, where I've also seen a lot of very interesting projects popping up and becoming more and more close to having an impact in the world. But I think for me, what really changed in my life was being involved in this competition called iGEM, where students are invited to create a biological solution for a problem that they see in the world. And back in 2010, there was this huge oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico that very much inspired us to create bacteria that could degrade small oil droplets in water. And so here you see us in the lab working very hard in the summer to create this bacteria that could basically digest the oil and turn it into CO2. And myself, you can see here with an arrow, and my colleague Eva, we're not only very interested in the science behind, but also in how we could translate what we were doing and communicate it to other people. And that worked out very well. Very quickly, we got attention from the media. The Dutch news came to visit our lab. We did radio interviews. We developed videos for science museums. We organized educational workshops for the public to come and understand what we were trying to achieve in the lab. And that inspired us very much to think a little bit further on how we as scientists could bridge the gap even more between research and society. And so we decided to start Science Matters in 2011 and to help researchers and organizations to effectively communicate science to different stakeholders. In the beginning, it was very much an exploration, I have to say. We did a lot of different things. We worked with science museum exhibitions to build workshops that the public could have an interaction with science and learn about a new topic. We also, and it's something we still do, organize stakeholder events on different topics to inform the public, and typically we also support the researchers in how they can translate their complex research into language that public can understand. I have to change the title here, sorry, I forgot, but we've also been involved in developing educational material for primary school or high school, but we've on the other hand also worked on modules that the teachers could be trained on and then translate that into the classroom. But more and more, Science Matters is becoming focused on researchers or actually organizations themselves, and we'd like to train individuals in how they can approach such types of projects themselves, because we're only limited if we would be the ones making the communication material and every time there is something to communicate. So we wanted to translate that, kind of clone what we know to as many as possible others. I think having science communication skills is really becoming more important than ever, and Rosa already mentioned almost everything I put on this slide. The world is becoming increasingly specialized, and if the experts are not able to communicate about it other than in scientific publications or in patents, who else will? That can be, this can either mean that the message is completely lost and that not enough people are aware of what is possible, or on the other hand, it could mean that the interpretation of some data is completely done in the wrong way, and it can lead to fake news and misinformation. We also see that grants are increasingly asking scientists to engage with the public, but that's nice to ask them, but of course that's not so easy to do. And I have to say that when I just started, I think I made many mistakes that I learned from, and it really takes time and effort to become very good at that. It's extremely helpful in this interdisciplinary collaborations, and these days if you want to create something very new, being able to combine different disciplines is extremely powerful. We also need to realize that our public money is invested in research, so we have a duty to communicate what we are doing. And then if we really want to make a positive impact in the world, then I really believe that we need to engage very early on and understand how society feels and think about that, because even if our technology works, even assuming the regulators approve our inventions, then still at the societal level, it can be that people simply don't trust it or are afraid of it. And that can take a long time to create the good bridge between what we think is necessary and having a society that accepts and understands that and agrees with that as well. So we currently have different training programs in place. We conduct trainings on blog writing, those are storytelling and oral communication and podcasting. And as Jan Maria said already, we did this very nice workshop yesterday as part of this event where we trained a group of around 30 early stage researchers coming from a lot of different fields, and help them to turn their research projects into a blog that they can now publish and use to start to bridge the gap between themselves and other stakeholders of the public. Very nice. It was a very nice experience, and we've done many of such events. It's really eye-opening to show researchers how they can approach this in a different way. And I just wanted to end by sharing maybe some important considerations for effective communication, as this session is about best practices. It's really, really important, and Rosa also mentioned that, but I cannot stress it enough. It's really important to understand what you want to achieve with your communication. Just saying that you want to communicate to the general public is not enough. And that's something I see a lot with researchers, that they say, I want to communicate to the general audience. And then I typically ask them, but why? Why do you want that? And to who are you actually talking? Is it the general public in France? Is it in Spain? Is it your neighbor? Is it maybe people in agriculture? These are very different groups of people, and we need to understand how they think, feel, and what they believe, so you can adapt your communication to that goal and the audience. Then, based on that, you can reduce your complexity, find metaphors and ways of talking to them that allow you to build a connection. And I think, finally, what is very important is that you start to build a certain trust with your audience. I know that there's a lot of mistrust, and the only way I think that we can overcome that is to be humble and also be honest about what we know, what we don't know, and to really connect with the people that you meet and who you're engaging with. So that was my small presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and happy to answer any of your questions if you have them.
Thank you, Nadine. Thank you so much, Nadine. Anna Maria, would you mind your comments as someone that has been also as a communicator, but also the other side from the institutional point of view? No, need to use the...
Okay. It's very late in the day, so I try to make it brief. But I would like to start with perhaps a quite bold statement to say that we are going through a very big shift. I don't dare to say paradigm shift, but it's a big shift. And since I worked for over 2 decades with science communication, when I started this, it was what we call the deficit model, that was what was said to be science communication. That meant that when people that we were communicating or informing with did not act on the results or the information that we were giving, there was a deficit of information, so we need to communicate even more. And I think that during those years we have seen that this doesn't really work, to just go out with more and push out more information. We have to do it another way. And I think that's exactly what we have seen examples of today, that these are not the deficit models. This is a co-creation, this is inclusion, and also that learning by doing, you really sort of understand it much better. I think also that what we call science literacy is even more important than ever. That means that to understand the scientific process, the methods, to understand that there is a difference between an opinion that I think and that I know fact. And I think that science literacy is very important, that the scientists can not only talk about what they know, but they have to speak about more how they know it. And one way to do this, to include the civil society, is by citizen science. So it was really, really nice to hear you talk about this initiative you have taken, and it sort of makes my heart warmer. I was also very happy because I'm Swedish, and I see Greta every Friday on my way to work, and she still stands there. And this also comes down to questions like activism. Can a researcher be an activist? And where is sort of the line between what you can do and not to do? So I think it's very, very important that science communication becomes more inclusive, that it really listens to the needs and to the sort of what people need in the daily life to be able to really try to solve or work with these great challenges who has become super great challenges very lately, and they're coming from everywhere, and there are more and more, and climate change is one of them. So I think it's really important to bring science to where people are, and I would like to end by saying that I am not so sure that we need more science communication. I am pretty sure that we need better science communication. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anna Maria. This is a perfect way to end the day, but instead I want to open the floor to the questions, because we started with a 10 minutes delay, so on our schedule we are still on time. And like Rosa, exactly. And Ana, Alexandra, por favor. Muchas gracias. Do you have any questions for our speakers including all of them, so especially the 4 initial speakers? Silvana.
Thank you all for the presentation, and congratulations to the girl for the work. And I have a question for them. I don't know, maybe you can translate.
I can translate.
Okay. How were your families involved in it, if they were involved? Because it's important to have young people doing that, but it's important that there are also a mean to reach the families. So I would like to know if
yes.
that
La pregunta es, ¿me escuchas? ¿Me escucháis? Sí. La pregunta es ¿vuestras familias estaban involucradas en este proyecto o no? ¿O solamente los estudiantes? ¿O cómo se hace? ¿Hay una combinación de estudiantes-familias? ¿O por los retos, por ejemplo? ¿O vosotros hacíais cosas como padres en casa? ¿O?
Ellos, al vernos involucrados en esto, pues quieras o no, también como que toman recortes y aprenden de nosotros, porque con el tema de la contaminación lumínica y todo lo que estamos dando, también como que les enseñamos y se acoplan a nosotros.
She's saying that actually the parents, they are learning from them. So right now they had like a workshop on the light contamination from an astrophysicist that is in Tenerife.
Es el testimonio que dan el que realmente se transmite, ¿no? a los políticos, familias, sociedad en
There's
general.
no direct relation with the family, of course, but the children, they bring home the messages and they they teach to the parents and they do things together.
That's a very good way to do it. That's, is there okay?
Also, for the young women, I would like to know, does this experience give you a different image of the world? Do you think that you will be outside of Tenerife in the future?
La pregunta es, después de este curso, ¿tenéis otra vista del mundo? ¿Queréis salir un poco de Tenerife, hacer cosas fuera? ¿Te has cambiado la vista del mundo después de este proyecto?
Pues la verdad que sí, porque, o sea, viendo de que había tantos, bueno, todos los continentes involucrados en ese proyecto, pues nos dimos cuenta, yo por lo menos, de que es bastante importante y grave lo que estamos viviendo. Entonces, pues...
She's saying that she realized now that it's quite a big problem that we are having with the climate changes. She never thought that actually it was so big and it's happening everywhere in the world, because with all the students being involved from India, Africa, they've learned about their own problems, especially throughout the manifesto they wrote. They understood better what's wrong in each country and so she said that yes, actually it really changed her vision.
Por completar,
sí.
Detalles concretos, ¿no? En Senegal, cuando hablamos con el alumnado de Senegal y sus profesores, nos cuentan cómo el desierto del Sáhara avanza desde el norte y eso hace que cambie la población, ¿no? O sea, que haya un avance de la población desde el norte hacia el centro de la ciudad, hacia Dakar, ¿no? En la India llamaba la atención a los alumnos de San Benito, es que algunos no están aquí, ¿no? Que son los que realmente quizás más estaban en esa vida mal el año pasado. Y llamaba la atención que comentaba el alumnado de la India de la misma edad que su recreo lo pasaba dentro del aula con aparatos que limpiaban, ¿no? Por la contaminación el aire, ¿no? Y tenían que pasar el recreo cuando era un alto nivel de contaminación dentro del aula. En Chile, con el tema de los glaciares, en distintos lugares del mundo, su problema lo enfocaban de distintas maneras.
Y en concreto, for example, there's some specific examples where in Africa, in Senegal, they learned about the desert coming down from the north and the people having to move from their town. In India, where the students have to spend their time off inside the room because outside there's so much pollution, air pollution, that they're not allowed to play outside, and more things in Chile, and so it was, yeah. The preoccupation is the same because everyone has to face its own problem, but at the end of the day, everyone has to find a solution against the specific problem, I guess. Yes.
So again, it's also about this project. So here, they're only girls who are here, right? But there were boys involved, right, in the project. Does it, for you, does it change your way of seeing, what kind of studies you might want to do later? And would you say that it has a different effect on boys and girls?
So aquí se dice, hay solamente mujeres, ¿no? Y el proyecto, él pregunta si había también hombres y si eso ha cambiado vuestra visión y si ha cambiado, por ejemplo, lo que queréis hacer en el futuro, en vuestra vocación, sí.
Explico primero lo de Where is the Voice, ¿no? El proyecto es para todo el alumnado, chicos y chicas, pero es cierto que además de matemáticas y lucha contra el cambio climático o el trabajo cooperativo en grupo, existe un elemento fundamental que por eso hemos pensado en Alexandra en el origen, que es visibilizar el valor y el poder de la mujer y la niña en la ciencia. Y celebramos el 11 de febrero con mucha fuerza cada año en torno a eso con una científica y potenciamos que haya mujeres en los capítulos de matemáticas y hombres, no solamente es Pitágoras, no solamente es Gauss, encontramos, y es difícil crear capítulos de una historia, es muy difícil a veces encontrar información de calidad sobre mujeres científicas para hacerlo en internet, en donde podemos acceder. Entonces hemos insistido mucho en visibilizar a la mujer en la ciencia y por eso han venido chicas especialmente a este acto y por eso ayer hicimos la obra de Marie Curie pensando también en la misma línea. Y la otra respuesta, no, la hacen ellas, ¿vale?
Un minuto. Ya tengo un problema. No, he's saying that the project is of course for men and women, but he, since the start, he wanted to give a special place to women, and he was saying that actually that's why he contacted me, and they gave, I'm not dead, and they gave me an homage, and so it's homage.
Tribute.
A tribute, that's why they called the project like this, because they wanted a scientific woman and they were looking for someone working on biofuels, but saying that he's made a conscious effort in also doing the episodes of mathematics, looking for information about mathematics, women mathematicians, and it has been very difficult, even on internet, because information is not that clear. And they are making an effort every year to celebrate the 11th of February, to really give the importance of women in science and here in mathematics. But of course, it's open to everyone. But for today, for example, he chose to have 4 girls and also to do yesterday the theater show, because it was about Marie Curie. He wanted all the characters to be women, you know, and so this is what he's promoting.
I have a question for you. One, but you were saying something. I'm sorry.
La otra pregunta, lo de la visión del mundo, yo creo que nosotras hemos cambiado bastante la visión, o sea, ya sabemos, hemos conocido otras partes del mundo, sabemos que no es solo la contaminación aquí, sino que también se ha visto en otros lugares del mundo. Y lo de la vocación científica, yo creo que lo de los episodios de matemáticas ha hecho que los alumnos se centren más en la asignatura y también pues que quieran aprender más y que les guste más las matemáticas.
The answer to the second question is that yes, they have changed their vision of the world, and actually they are more interested now. Everyone is more interested in the class, and she said they participate more in math. Yes, in math, because of course it's dedicated to math.
That's what it said.
That's what it said. Of course, and so the women are more interested in math now because of the whole class. I mean,
was about the questions were about your if that changed your vision of the world or your vision of your future. And about the vision, the idea that you had of science, that you had about science, and has it changed compared to previous, before this project you did some science at school, but then after this project, what was the view of the scientific world and the work of the scientist in general? That's what is your group? In a way, they already
and also I think they changed their view of scientists.
That's exactly,
Están preguntando si habéis también cambiado vuestra visión de la ciencia en general y después de todo eso, y seguramente también de los científicos.
Claro, sí. Nos han enseñado que no es solo la pequeña parte que nosotros conocíamos en plan experimentos, que era lo único que sabíamos. Nos enseñaron todo lo demás, como por ejemplo ahora lo de la contaminación lumínica, que es por ejemplo también una parte de la ciencia. Entonces nos están enseñando como más ramas.
See, she's saying that yes, they are discovering new world, so new branch of science. Because every time so now they are trying to invite other scientists. So we are keeping this. Because I still participate, but I said it would be nice also to expand. And I wanted to invite other women scientists. So we are changing the theme. And yes, she said that now she has another vision of science and what's out there in general.
Thank you so much. May I? Are there any more questions? Okay. So one final question to Rosa about them, this project, and what this project somehow represents. And maybe Alexandra, you wish to join in. Is in your experience with all this project, all your experience in all the citizen science projects, what are in your experience again, what are the difficulties? Because like this, it seems a perfect world. It's an amazing, it's a dream in a way. But what are the challenges that you know, based on your experience, or what were the challenges for the teachers and Alexandra in this project? Because that is also something that we should be well aware in order to,
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to engage citizens. Yes, this is a wonderful example, but it's not always the case. Working with the schools is really rewarding because not only because of everything that we just saw, but because they act as multipliers, they can engage their families, and also they can teach their families in the process. So it's wonderful, but sometimes in the projects you don't need to work, your target communities are not students or are not, so you need to find the strategies to engage them. And usually it requires for the scientists to understand the motivations of people to participate in the study. For example, I don't know if you can hear me well, but I'm an odor expert in odor pollution, which is like light pollution, another type of pollution, which is under-regulated, understudied, etc. So we have an app, and we can map together odors, and you can do that with students or with affected communities where you have socio-environmental conflicts. Always, because citizens are not protected, they just combine with the others. In that case, the motivation for these citizens is to recover their quality of life. It's not that they want to learn science or they are interested in whatever, but it's because they have an issue that they want to solve. So in each case, the barrier to engagement it needs to be overcome by identifying these motivations and defining for your target community, age, etc., the right strategies to engage them. And usually, I agree very much with what Maria said. You need to go where they are. You don't need. You cannot expect that your target citizens will come where you are. So, yeah, a lot of barriers, but there is a science also in engagement.
There is a science in engagement. That's.
Just to add a few words. Actually, the project was not that easy because it came out of the idea of Juan Fran with the help of Merari, and they were alone to do that. No support, no institutional support, no school support. And, right, you entended, no, lo que digo. And I want to stress that because they did everything on their own. If not, almost with barriers. So when they first contacted me, actually, I ignored them also. I mean, I can say that. They were contacting me over and over, and then I learned, okay, they are going to use my name for a project I don't know. So I thought, okay, I need to contact them. And then I discovered what they wanted to do, and I thought, wow, it's wonderful what you are doing. I really would like to collaborate. Yes, I'm in. And I mean, they've done so much work. And of course, I was very happy to participate and do the videos, make the video with them and go and visit them. But it looks like it's a very great story. I'm very happy about it, but it wasn't easy. And it's not something, I mean, honestly, bravo.
Small question. Yeah, okay. Okay, maybe it opens the whole story.
Yeah,
okay.
From a mathematician, right?
But here, is there any study on impact of groups participating to citizen science on their attitude about science after participating?
Yes. There's a group of researchers in Sweden at Gothenburg University, and they are doing research on citizen science. And it's the result is not really that good that one wants, perhaps, that it really changed the view, and they are all want to becoming researchers afterwards, but one could easily say that there is a change in the attitude, and they are still doing the studies, so the final answers, and it's also ongoing process. Citizen science is very old. I mean, in Sweden we had Carl von Linné over 100 years, but now it's very popular, and I'm happy it is. But I think there's going to be more and more articles and research done on the actual impact and if it changed the point of view and the sort of values and the path for those people in the future. Because mostly when you look at citizen science, it's the postdoc and PhD students who actually are involved. So that's a way of capitalizing on the investments on the PhD students, postdoc. But that's another question.
Let's call it a day. Thank you so much to all the speakers, Rosa, Anna Maria, Nadine, Alexandra, and you, and to the teachers as well. Thank you so much, you, for being so patient and for the interest.